What do earworms and clickbait have in common? That's the subject of today's Idea of the Day. Do you know what an earworm is? An earworm is what they call it when you got like a song spinning around your head and you can't get it out. Or it just keeps racing around, you know, like listening to the Lady Gaga song, rah, rah, da, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, ba, ba. That's an earworm, and it drives people crazy. And people have been wondering, how do you get rid of an earworm? And then more specifically, how did it get there in the first place? Well, the answer to that is very similar to clickbait. It has a lot to do with the mind's desire for completion, the desire to get the answer to a question. It's trying to work out a problem. It's trying to get an answer. And that's what clickbait is all about. More often than not, when you see something that we call clickbait, it's where you have a catchy kind of a title that kind of, it's a mystery. You don't know what it is. Like, it'll say like, why won't they hire Brad Pitt anymore? Or what's wrong with so-and-so that he can't work anymore? You see these kind of clickbait things like, what is that he said that made her so upset? You see these clickbait things and it's like your mind says, I gotta know the answer. Even if it's, just gonna go there just to click on it and find out the answer to the question. And of course, 90% of the time when you click on what is genuine clickbait, you'll see a picture of something and say, how did that happen? And to put the word "that" in capital letters. So you're wondering, well, I don't know. I don't even know if that's a real picture. So you click on it, and meanwhile it takes you to a slideshow with 50 different pictures. And you're hoping that one of the ones is the one you're trying to get the resolution to, because your mind hates a mystery. The mind craves and hates mysteries. It doesn't like an unresolved thing. If it sees a question, it wants the answer. If it sees a mystery, it wants to solve it. If it sees puzzles, it's got to know how they work. Even if just getting there means nothing, but it means a lot to your mind. So we're back to the original premise, an earworm. How did they start? How did they get there? Well, an earworm is often for the same kind of basic psychology. Your mind is trying to resolve something. It heard part of a song, maybe just the first part of it, or maybe it heard the beginning of a song and it just wants to hear it come to conclusion. And in music there's little peaks and dips where that you build up a little bit of tension. Well, sometimes a song starts in a certain way and you want to hear it kind of resolve itself out, but it doesn't get there. And in some cases that's because what happens is there's like a hook that has nothing to do with the rest of the song. That's why I mentioned Lady Gaga. If I go rah, rah, da, 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 that whole shebang, it's part of a song, but it's not the song. So like you can get that part in your head and your mind is trying to connect it to whatever it was connected to originally. So your mind is trying to say, trying to get all the rest of the song resolved in it. And of course it can't, because sometimes you can't even remember what song that came out of or any of the other words, but it's got that little thing going on. And the same thing could happen if you want to cause an earworm to somebody. You get in your car and you're driving along, you're listening to a song, and maybe you're paying attention, maybe you're not, but then you arrive, you get where you're going, and you shut the car off, and you're just in the middle of the song, and your mind is still not done with it. It's not like, hey, it's like singing the Star Spangled Banner and you didn't get to the end. It wants to hear the end, but you just left. Just a little observation, and that's today's Idea of the Day. All right, so that's today's Idea of the Day. I hope you liked it. If you visit ideaoftheday.com, you'll see a new one every day. Every day. Yeah, some of them don't suck. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can see them here every day. Brand new one. And some of my videos don't suck either.